There's a moment from last week's debate that's not getting nearly enough attention that it deserves, and it's when Donald Trump was asked a question if he regrets anything about the January 6th insurrection and his involvement in it, and he said he has no regrets, and he blamed Nancy Pelosi for it. And then when pressed on it, Donald Trump said that he had no involvement at all in it. He said he was just there to give a speech. He was asked to give a speech. That's all he did. Now, I want to explain to you why I think that is going to be used as evidence by special counsel Jack Smith against Donald Trump to show that Donald Trump's conduct on January 6th does not constitute core constitutional functions or official acts pursuant to the United States Supreme Court's horrible ruling on absolute presidential immunity. And now, as special counsel Jack Smith is briefing why Trump should not have absolute presidential immunity, I think he's going to cite this exact response Donald Trump gave at the debate. I want to play that in just a moment for you. Now, there's another reason why that was a disastrous response, because all of the data is also suggesting that voter registration peaked when Donald Trump answered that question the way he did during the debate. The other time voter registration spiked is when Taylor Swift told people to go out and register to vote and endorse Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz. First, let me just show you the data about voter registration when Trump answered that question. Play this clip.
Well, even as the debate was happening live, there was evidence of how viewers saw this in terms of Harris winning. The Washington Post's Philip Bump points out there was a massive spike in Google searches for voter registration, and that particular moment coincided with what was happening on your screen, which was this comment about January 6th.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech.
I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital.
All right, so that was the voter registration surge happened. It was, coincided, as I said, with that moment. Now, let's look at the second spike. This also on voter registration. This happened right after Taylor Swift endorsed Harris. And the post from Swift officially backing Harris had 9.4 million likes. Now, we do know more than 300,000 people were directed from this specific post to a voter registration site. Now, look, you're talking about a few 100,000 people. I mean, a lot more than that, but even just on that, they went to the link. I mean, remember Georgia, 10,770 votes, and Arizona even narrower than that. You get the point. Those numbers can mean absolutely everything.
Now let me show you Donald Trump's answer in its full context. This is going to be, I will make a bet that this will be an exhibit that will be used by special counsel Jack Smith, and I'm going to explain why, but I want to give you the full context again of what Donald Trump said at the debate. So play the full clip there.
Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar. Remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, well, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America? They're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just ask you,
David, when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle? They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask you.
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., And the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi. But
Are you feeling sluggish, low energy, and unfocused? Your body might be telling you it needs a deep clean. Prolon by L Nutra is a scientifically backed fasting mimicking diet designed to clean out the cobwebs on a cellular level. Just 5 days can make a meaningful difference in your overall health. Introducing Prolon. It's a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that nourishes the body while making cells believe they're fasting. Researched and developed at the University of Southern California Longevity Institute, Prolon helps promote healthy blood sugar, it supports cardiovascular health, and reduces abdominal fat. Prolon isn't a diet, it's science-based on Nobel Prize-winning discoveries in medicine. The 5-day program, it includes snacks, soups, and beverages designed to keep your body in a fasting state. It's unlike anything you've experienced. I did the 5-day program. I can tell you that it made all the difference in the world to me, and I've gotten so many positive reviews from the Midas Mighty out there. Prolon really isn't like any other diet I've tried. It's convenient. They sent me everything. It's all in one box. Right now, Prolon is offering the MeidasTouch podcast listeners like you 15% off their 5-day nutrition program. Go to prolonlife.com/Meidas. That's PROLONLIFE.com. prolonlife.com/Meidas for this special offer. That's prolonlife.com/Meidas. Check it out. Now, the reason that's going to be used by special counsel Jack Smith is that the United States Supreme Court really did 3 things in its ruling on absolute presidential immunity. They said that Donald Trump would be absolutely immune for things that fell within core constitutional functions, official presidential acts, and that Donald Trump would also have absolute immunity from those types of acts, official acts, and core constitutional functions being introduced as evidence in cases. So the fact that Donald Trump did not say, I supported this, I did this, this was part of my core constitutional functions, or I was there on that day acting within the course and scope of my executive powers. Instead, what he said, you heard him, but it was, look, I was there to give a speech, really as part of his campaign. So this was not core constitutional function activity. You take his own words. He showed up to give a speech that was in connection with somebody else's event. That was a Stop the Steal event. He was still in connection with trying to take over the government, claiming that he won when he did not. And so you take a look at those statements right there, and it's very easy for Jack Smith to say, okay, look at his own words. Trump said that he just was there to read a speech. What kind of speech was he reading? It was campaigning activity. And it's along the lines of, and you may know this from watching Legal AF, a civil case where no absolute immunity was found by the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals involving Donald Trump, called the Blassingame case, where it was viewed by the district court judge and the Court of Appeals as Donald Trump was engaged in campaigning activity on January 6th. So the Blassingame line of cases for civil cases where Donald Trump could be sued and there's no absolute civil immunity, to me, now links based on what Donald Trump said on the criminal side. And I think Jack Smith can connect those two concepts the way I just did and say, look at the Blassingame ruling, no immunity in civil cases. Take a look at what Donald Trump said at the debate also, in addition to his other statements, no immunity. And I think that will work its way into the briefing before Judge Chutkan, who's hearing that case. Now, something I want to mention at all, I'm not sure if you caught this on Friday, Donald Trump talked about on Friday, he was complaining that he's not getting plea deals. He says they give other people plea deals, but not Trump. So it's interesting to think that maybe he's posturing here for a plea deal. And I have other data points for that, but let me just show you what he said. Play the clip.
By his hand, Kamala launched her tenure as DA with a San Francisco police group described as a, quote, fire sale for plea deals. They made plea deals. The only one they don't make a plea deal with is Trump. They go after their political opponent, especially when they haven't done anything wrong. You saw more charges were dropped yesterday in Atlanta, Georgia. It's all politically inspired. It's all against their political opponent.
It's a strange thing to say. Now, my other data point why I think that Donald Trump may be trying to start posturing for some sort of plea deal or a pardon or whatever is there was this moment at the 9/11 memorial. I mean, setting aside the fact that Donald Trump brought Laura Loomer to the 9/11 memorial. She's a 9/11-like denier and says the most heinous and despicable stuff. So setting that aside, you remember when Donald Trump was next to Bloomberg and Vice President Kamala Harris was there next to President Biden, and Bloomberg went over to Kamala and said, or Vice President Harris, and indicated that Donald Trump wanted to shake her hand. It was a strange moment, but let me just show it for you right there. And again, I don't want to read into that moment too much, but Donald Trump looked very weak there. He looked very defeated. He knows that he got rocked at that debate. He got absolutely cooked. And I just think that that's in his own malignant narcissist mind as he cycles through what it could look like when he loses to start thinking, I have to start being, nicer, or I'm going to have to, be friendly. And in his own mind, maybe I can convince her to help me out down the road, which is not going to happen. But to me, that's what I think about it in the malignant narcissist mind. And look, we've studied malignant narcissism here at the MeidasTouch Network. Of course, this is the video we made on his malignant narcissism. Play the clip.
We will be creating so much electricity that you'll be saying, please, please, President, we don't want any more electricity. We can't stand it. You'll be begging me, no more electricity, sir.
Is someone you're thinking of hiring promising things that sound too good to be true?
I could stop wars with a telephone call.
Do their facts and figures not add up?
Actually, beyond a number of 100%. It's a much higher number than that, but
Does the candidate seem self-absorbed?
people have come up to me and they say, Sir, thank you. Sir, thank you. Sir, I want to thank you. You've made me a hero to my wife and to my family.
In all likelihood, you've encountered the malignant narcissist. Malignant narcissism is a severe personality disorder that pairs the self-absorbed behavior of narcissists with the unfeeling manipulation of sociopaths. Unlike those who simply enjoy recognition from their peers, the malignant narcissist is driven by a desire to dominate for personal gain. And there are red flags you can look out for. Like, do they have an unrealistic view of their own importance?
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln.
Do they only regard other people as tools for personal gain?
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Do they lack empathy, even for children?
Actually, I was only kidding. You can get the baby out of here. I think you would believe me that I love having a baby crying while I'm speaking.
Do they speak with an excessive use of superlatives?
Who are the best and who are the worst? Best, the worst, biggest, lowest, best. I find it to be about the worst.
If the candidate you're interviewing exhibits some or all of these red flags, trust your instincts and show them the door. Your organization deserves an employee that can lead with integrity and respect. Stay vigilant. Look for the red flags.
So again, I may be reading it into too much, but maybe not. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. I want to get 4 million subscribers together. Thanks for watching.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.